Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me to share in this webinar. Since the time is so limited, I'll try to be very brief about the current situation of the Palestinian prisoners. Currently, there's around 5,000 prisoners inside the Israeli prisons, out of them around 165 children under 18, 33 women, more than 1,200 administrative detainees, and 4 Palestinian Legislative Council members that they are still in detention. Of course, the situation of the Palestinian prisoners started to deteriorate dramatically after the success of 6 prisoners 2 years ago to escape the Israeli most security classified prison, Gilboa prison. And since then, there is a serious policy of collective punishments, isolation, transfer of prisoners from one prison to another on daily basis sometimes, and more restrictions. And all this escalated as well since the current government took over, and when Ben Gvir came to the Interior Security Ministry as a responsible minister for the prisons, he immediately started to take measures against the prisoners in making their daily life conditions more difficult, like imposing restrictions on the time of the shower, the transfer of the prisoners from one prison to another, that sometimes took in the same day of the family visits, where families reached the prisons without being able to meet the prisoners. But the most serious things would be reflected on the legal level of changes in the legal system, whether in the civil system, in the civil laws that is applicable for the prisoners. For example, on the level of the early release, where they are changing the policy, the ability of prisoners who are sentenced for less than 3 years to be released after finishing 2/3 of the sentence. Now it's not applicable. The issue of the family visits, to limit the family visits for once in 2 months and just for half an hour. According to the current prison regulations, actually, this is the situation, but on the ground, the prison system was enabling the family visits to take place once a month. And this is what brought the prisoners, of course, beside the fact that in the last more than 1 year and a half, there is a sharp increase in the administrative detention policy, which brought the number to be, for the first time since 2006-2007, to be more than 1,200. The prisoners initiated the hunger strike. Individual hunger strikes or collective hunger strike, like that was supposed to start yesterday, but after discussion between the High Committee for the prisoners inside the prison and the prison authority, they reached an agreement not to implement the changes on the level of the family visits now, so they delayed the hunger strike. And I would end by highlighting the dangers of the individual hunger strikes, because currently there's still 2 prisoners, administrative detainees actually, that they are continuing their hunger strike for more than 40 days against the policy of hunger strike. And to remember that this year we lost Khader Adnan, one of the most known detainees, that he initiated more than 5 individual hunger strikes in the last 10 years. And he lost his life in the 87 days of his hunger strike today. And this reflects the complicity of the whole system, the judicial system, whether in the military court system or the Israeli High Court or the prison authority system, in the oppression against the prisoners, because Khader wasn't supposed to face this serious situation, but they refused to release him on condition. They refused to transfer him for a normal hospital to be treated. And he was isolated alone all the 87 days. He was denied family visit. They used all the restrictions, all the punishments against Khader, and this time he lost his life.